There's a piece in New York Daily News today. And it says that about a month ago, the communications director for the DNC, a guy named Louis Miranda, did an interview with CNN's Jake Tapper to formally clarify the official position of the Democratic Party on when superdelegates are and are not supposed to actually count in public vote tallies. Now, if you've been following, every single television outlet has Hillary Clinton ahead by 10,000 delegates. I'm exaggerating, but you know what I mean. Because of these goddamn superdelegates. They make the assumption that the superdelegates are all going to Hillary because they are shills put in position by the Democratic Party. Well, anyway, what Louis Miranda said shocked the hell out of people. And it should surprise you, too. It did me, too, in part because not a single media outlet or the Clinton campaign has paid one bit of attention to what the DNC's own communications director said since he said it. Not a word. Nothing. Now, I'll get to it. But since the election season began, networks, newspapers, pundits, all these talking heads have included the superdelegates in their tallies when they try to show us stupid asses why those of us who continue to vote for Sanders or support Sanders are just dumber than dog shit. Because look at the vote, or look at the delegate total. Right? But the DNC emphatically said that was wrong a month ago when Louis Miranda went on CNN's Jake Tapper. So our great corporate media, among other things, is putting out bullshit about this. In no uncertain terms, Louis Miranda told Jake Tapper that the media should not be including the superdelegates in these totals. Miranda said, quote, "One of the problems is the way the media reports them. Any night that you have a primary or a caucus, and the media lumps the superdelegates in, that they basically polled by calling them up and saying, who are you supporting? They don't vote until the convention. So they shouldn't be included in any count." Right? End quote, Louis Miranda, communications director of the DNC. Tapper, according to the writer at New York Daily News, seemed shocked by the candid honesty here of Miranda. And then Tapper said, but when we do our totals, do you think it's okay to include them? Jake Tapper must have fucking concrete between his ears. The guy just told him, no, you don't do that. So Tapper says, but when we do our totals, do you think it's okay to include them? And then Miranda kind of doubled down and he said, no, not yet, because they're not actually voting, Jake. Jesus Christ. And Miranda added, they're likely to change their mind. Look at 2008. And what happened then was there was all this assumption about what superdelegates were going to do, and many of them did change their minds before the convention, and it shifted the results in the end. End quote, Louis Miranda, communications director of the DNC. So, to sum up, the communications director of the DNC said that superdelegates should not be counted because they are, using his words, likely to change their minds. Likely? That's stronger than maybe, possibly, could, might, likely to change their minds. Like they did in 2008. Now, had a surrogate for Bernie Sanders or a staff member for Bernie Sanders had said this, that person would be called every foul name imaginable by the Clinton campaign, right? But Louis Miranda is the communications director of the DNC. He works for Obama. He speaks for the Democratic Party. Crickets. Not a goddamn word from Wolf Blitzer or all the Hillary shills on MSNBC, and every goddamn one of them is. So the Daily News puts it this way. Tapper, clearly befuddled, then concluded the interview with this summary, which again was shocking. Quote, very interesting. The DNC itself is saying don't include superdelegates in the totals to cable networks like our own, end quote. So let me ask you something just candidly. Do you think the CNN paid one iota of attention to what this DNC person just said on Jake Tapper's program? Of course not. If you look at any poll, go online, look at a poll, especially those put out by the DNC, or not by the DNC, but by Democratic organizations around the country, Democratic parties in various states, look at the totals and you'll see that superdelegates are included. So what Sanders has been saying all along about these goddamn superdelegates is don't be fooled. He knows. He understands, but we don't. I didn't know this. Did you, Truth Seeker? I had no idea. Why is that? Because I'm an American voter. So that means I'm a dumb shit. I have no idea how this system works. You thought you did, didn't you? You thought you knew. No, you don't. We're finding out this year how this weird Byzantine electoral process works. And the way it works is to abso-goddamn-lutely deny the strength of the voters. It is set up and manipulated to do what the leadership, the Republican Party leadership, and I'm not necessarily talking about like Louis Miranda. He probably has lost his job already. But to do what the people who own the Democratic Party, and they include neoliberals, they include warmongers, they include people who are about one step below these Republicans where it concerns their psychopathology, you're supposed to believe them. They're the ones who write these rules. Do they put out a book or a guide that says, okay, when you go vote in the primary in your town or your state tonight, when you vote in a caucus, this is what you're really voting for? You're voting for delegates. Now, as far as the superdelegates are concerned, that's something that we in the Democratic Party set up to make sure that you assholes out there who vote Democratic don't do something really assholey and vote for a Democratic Socialist. This is our check and balance on you dumb fucks. And that's who we are.